Friends, patriots, fellow Americans who are like me and really excited about what's going on this week. And we're gonna get into this a little bit because people are feeling the frustration. I woke up this morning excited, and I can't wait to share with you what's going on with my buddy Bruce Poppy. Let's get started today. Bruce Poppy, welcome to the show. So good to see you, my friend.
Great to be seen as well. It's always a blessing. I look forward to Fridays nowadays, hanging out with you and whoever else decides to pop in and join us. So yeah, it's been an exciting week for me too. Super busy. I tried to go to the Trump rally, but I had to postpone the trip having to do some adulting situation. So I was a little disappointed about that, but everything else has been fine and getting better.
So good to see that because, life does get in the way. We have these plans or things we want to do. And like you said, adulting gets in the way sometimes. I get it. I have the same issues here. So much to do and I want to spend so many hours on the show and putting it together. And sometimes that gets truncated a little bit. Today's one of those days we were challenged a little bit by learning this week that my cousin passed away. I'll share this photo of him. This is my cousin Danny, and he passed away this week, and very sad to see. He was just 4 months younger than me. We grew up together in Montreal, and it was kind of fun to talk to the family, but of course, lots of tears, lots of sadness of his passing. Way too young, way too young for him to pass. And I've been telling people, Bruce, and I think this is probably the advice for a lot of people because we're in a very weird time in our lives. We've never experienced this before, where things are very turbulent, and every day something pops up that you may or may not expect. And the question always is, well, how do I remain stable through it all? And the truth of the matter is, maybe you're not going to be stable. Maybe you're going to have days where you're going to cry. Maybe there are days where you're going to be frustrated. Maybe you're going to be angry. Maybe you're going to have to let that emotion out. The worst thing I think you can do is try to bottle it all up. Bottling up all the emotions is where these horrible diseases start coming from. And a lot of times they're emotionally driven, so many of them. So how do you do it? Bruce, what's your strategy for dealing with the ups and downs of this time that we're living?
Well, we got to understand, I always talk about, we're talking about recently about connections, right? And 3 different types of connections that are super important. And understanding, one saying that keeps coming into my head over and over again as we progress through this Twilight Zone stuff is don't sweat. I think there's even a book called this, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. It's all small stuff, right? And in the grand scheme of things, the little things that might get underneath their skin or cause some friction, they don't mean, it's not a big deal. It can be overcome. So I stay connected as much as I can, to source, God creator, having some quiet time in the morning and at night, to meditate and get my mind right. And thank you to Carol Maureen Friesen for turning me on to the whole, the RAPE stuff. If you're not familiar with that, or HAPE, H-A-P-E, or R-A-P-E with the Spanish dude on the top. Rapid, look that up. It's fantastic. Spiritually clears your mind, wards off negative stuff. So that's what I do. Try to keep as calm as possible. Now they'll tell you a different story. So I get worked up pretty easy. What really gets me worked up is when people don't do their job, don't do what you're supposed to do. If you just do what you're supposed to do, everything's going to be fine. And I just can't. Incompetence. I have very short fuse for incompetence.
Ditto for me, same thing. And, staying strong during this time. I always tell people, during this time, it's important to stay strong. So that means body, mind, soul, right? You need to be strong in all those areas. And at the same time, you have to remain flexible because the winds are blowing and sometimes we don't know which direction they're going to blow in. And, if you're not flexible, you're going to break. So, remain strong, remain flexible, and be ready to change directions. I'm doing that now. There's some things in my life I need to change direction on. And it's like, I don't want to, but I know I have to because the path forward isn't very clear. I need to change, this path that I'm on. So,
and sometimes that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
People don't like change. There's, only one thing that's constant, is change. I mean, it sounds oxymoronic, but things are always changing, and I understand that completely, and even was driven home further by that friend that you recommended, your friend Carrick Ashley. His book that he wrote, How Would Love Respond? He talks about in there, you're either evolving or you're dissolving, right? You can't just maintain. You can't stay in the middle. You're either going forward or you're going backwards. Things are moving, and life is not a merry-go-round. You just can't get off here and wait for the thing to come back around. It's one of those moving sidewalks. So if you get off here and you get back on, you got to run to catch up to other people. Yep. So it's always important to be willing to change, like you said, willing to adjust, adapt. We have to be willing to change. There's things I need to change in my life, and I'm working on those changes as well.
You did a lot by moving and getting your condo ready, and now we're going through the moving thing now too, and it's like this wasn't in the plan. 2019, we had a very different plan forward. We were going to be here, forever. Really, is what the plan was, and pandemic kind of changed everything. And right at the beginning, it was the first thing I said to people is like, we have to know that things aren't going to be the same. We're not going back to 2019. It's too far away now. Too much has changed. And this idea too that we're expecting Donald Trump to come back in power and all of a sudden everything's going to be good again. No. We've got damage that is generational now. We've got things that are going to take decades to get back on track. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So drop the hope. All right. Hey, guess what? It's a birthday today. Woo-hoo! It's the Marines' 248th birthday, United States Marine Corps. Pretty cool. You got something to share there?
Yeah, it's a little... different Marine logos. Happy birthday to the Marine Corps. Those are the badasses in the military. I'm sure the guys in the Army and the Air Force would tend to have a different story about that. But yes, happy birthday to the Marine Corps of the United States of America. We love them, man. That the military is where we are, why we are, because where we are. I mean, freedom isn't free. It's been paid with lives and blood and treasure. And these people that signed up voluntarily, most of them, they're ones that are putting their lives on the line so we can maintain our freedoms.
There hasn't been a draft, I don't think, in the United States since Vietnam, right?
Yeah, no.
That I'm aware of, yeah.
Well, Crazy Joe, the resident up there, they were floating some trial balloons, about a draft or something. They were seeding the consciousness about that, and all the leftists were going crazy. Or, even people on the right, like, good grief, the way that as woke as the military is, they're, designing air suits for pregnant women. Yep. I don't know if I want to draft that age, that you draft 18 to 30, whatever. Those are the ones that seemingly, and this isn't a blanket indictment, but seemingly have the most indoctrination from the way that the universities have been gone over the last, couple decades.
Well, the enrollment numbers being as low as they are, they have to, fill those ranks up somehow. And that may be the way they're going to go about it is let's just draft everybody. And they do it in Israel. We're going to switch topics to Israel a little bit here. But, in Israel, everyone has to serve 2 years in the military. You're 18, bang, you're in. And that's just the way that works. And everyone gets exposure to it and so on and so forth, which may explain a lot about that country and how that country operates. It's very different than many other countries out here.
Yeah. They're very different than many other countries.
Yep. GOP debate. What a flop. What a flop. I keep going back here. So it drew just 6.8 million viewers. And it was on NBC, the New World Broadcasting Corporation. Right? You would think it would get a bigger audience than that. Here's what I find fascinating. Lewis was right about this, as he said this, if you look at what we're doing with this show, if you look at the number of views that we get, let's take a daily views, weekly views, monthly views. We're really not that far behind CNN. It's crazy to think that. And we don't have the $1 million studio. We don't have the producers and directors. I'm doing it all here. I in front of my computer. I got all of it here. I got the whole staff in these two hands, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have one of those big contracts that fills up my bank account, so
That's
I
right.
don't. So yeah, that's why we just do what we do, for the good of the order, right? For we the people. There's things that we can do and come across that we share, different products or companies or different things that, hey, this has been beneficial to me. If it can be beneficial to you too, and I get a little thank you card from the people that I'm helping generate business for, that's great, right?
Yeah.
It's not like we're, begging for donations or we're, schlepping some, gizmo widget thing you don't need. I mean, these are things, the stuff that I promote anyway. I know Lewis and you are the same way. Is the stuff that I use, that I love, that I've, vetted out myself, and I'm going to, whether you buy it or not, I'm going to continue to use it.
It's why we're so close as a group, a close-knit group. You, me, and Lewis, we're all thinking the same way, believing the same way. We see the news a lot of times the same way. There's some differences in there, which is great because we can learn from each other, right? And that's always a lot of fun to get the difference of opinion. That's why I love this show, because I get to chat with you in a different way than with Lewis, because you bring up a different viewpoint sometimes than he has or I have, and it's really nice. And it's even a bonus when all three of us are on, and then things really start exploding. Then you see the fireworks, my friends. That is the coolest thing. All right, Tara Bull puts out the top 10 headlines that the media didn't tell you about this week. And I know this is our Friday roundup, so we like to go in and say, we can pat ourselves on the back a little bit. We do quite well. We've covered a lot of these stories, not all of them. We've covered a lot of these. So where you're not getting in mainstream media, you get from Lewis in the News and SPG News and Unraveling the News with Bruce and I. Number 10, Court of Appeals suspends Trump's gag order, deeming it unconstitutional. I didn't even hear about that. Did you hear about that?
That was earlier in the week. That was the Chuckin one. That
Right.
wasn't the
Chuck Tan.
Yeah, the Chuck Tan.
Yeah.
So I hadn't heard any. There wasn't no crowing about that. No.
Nothing. I didn't hear a word about it. Number 9, lawyers meet with Florida Attorney General to prosecute Anthony Fauci.
Yep, I read up on that today.
You've got a good Attorney General there.
She is good. Yeah. On this particular thing, she's kind of deferring the way her comments, or the official person, when this attorney or this law group brought all this evidence against Fauci, she was kind of, I don't know, so she wasn't, 100%. Sure. We'll see how it develops.
Yeah, well,
still very early.
And you don't know about the backroom pressures, right? You don't know the threats. You don't know, all the stuff that may be happening. But it's interesting. Vivek Ramaswamy calls out the media, wins third GOP debate. I would argue with that. I think Trump won the third GOP debate, but okay.
The case at all. And if people would just really understand the truth and the history and what's going on.
No. Take all that off the table, because that's way too complicated. This is a much easier story to suss out. We're going to talk about it today because we've got some stuff that broke that's going to open your eyes to this on a different level today. So, that whole thing that happened at the music festival, there's information coming out that it wasn't the story we were told at all. Huh?
The music festival in Vegas, the rainstorm? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, the one in Israel.
Oh.
The Hamas attack.
Oh, that's when they attacked. Yeah.
Cool. Bonus, world leaders call for peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Zelensky has a tantrum because he wants more money. Thank you, Tara Bull, for that. That was a great list. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Well, we talked about this yesterday. The money goes to this is how the American government works, right? Just so you guys understand how it works. And how many do we have here watching? We have 444 people watching on SBG today. Guys, this is how this works. We don't have the money, but we borrow the money and we send the money over to Ukraine. That money makes a U-turn, comes back into our politicians' back pockets. Then it never gets repaid. It goes on our debt, so we need to repay it with interest. What a deal. How?
Yeah, thank you to the Rothschild central bankers.
We don't have it to give, yet we give it freely because our politicians are voting for it because it benefits them, and it just puts the country further and further in debt. What are we at? Almost 34 trillion now.
Yeah, there was
But that's not including Social Security and other things that we have to pay.
Upwards of 50 trillion.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, it makes me wonder if the debt really means anything. Because I've heard this before, like Obama had said it, the debt doesn't mean anything, it's just a number, it's not important, don't worry about it, right? And that's why he was raising it and borrowing, it doesn't mean anything. Well, truly, if you really want to think about it, if we do have a fiat currency, which I believe we do, then it's just numbers on a spreadsheet, isn't it? At the end of the day, they're not actually running presses and printing trillions of dollar bills. You didn't have that much paper. What do you think?
I think that's a plausible idea. I just had a mind screw up here. Somehow I did something, clicked on something. I got so many windows open here. The Zoom meeting went down out of view, and so I got the Rumble feed up here, and I'm watching it, and you're talking, and I'm watching the words on your mouth don't even match what's coming up, and I'm not even watching the right feed. So Rumble is always delayed.
Yep.
I was like, holy shit, what's going on?
People have been saying that on Rumble. Sometimes they get the replay, and the replay is out of sync. It's interesting because I test it every day. I go back and watch parts of it, and it seems to be in sync for me. Here's how you test it. Right? Does the clap match the hands? And if they do, we know we're in sync. If not, we can be a little bit off. The Rumble app, you were right, Bruce. I was wrong about that. You cannot go live on the app. Although it looks like you're going live, you're actually just recording locally.
Yeah.
So you were right about that. And I thought it was go live. I actually never did it. So I tried it the other day when we were talking about it. I'm like, hey, you can't go live here. But there is an app, Broadcast Me, I think the app is called. And you can use that app. I think it's on both platforms. And that goes right into Restream. And then you Restream out to Rumble like you normally do. Now, with Rumble, they just created permanent links. So you don't have to go get the links every time. You use the same links for your stream. But here's the caveat. The caveat is you still need to set it up.
Yeah.
Right?
And it can't be done more than 24 hours ahead of time.
Can't be done more than 24 hours ahead of time. And when you hit those links, it's just going to go to whatever live stream you have set up.
What was the name of that program you said?
Broadcast Me.
Broadcast Me.
Yeah, Broadcast Me. And I'll give you the link to, well, I have it in the App Store. You're an Android guy. You're a little bit different. All right.
Yeah, I know. I'm normal. People have been trying to get me to come over to the dark side for a very long time.
You got to send Lewis the link. He's trying to get in.
Okay, stand by. I sent it to him in the original email.
Yeah, Lewis wants to come on, and he's just so Bruce is going to resend them the link because we love to have Lewis on the show. Number one, that's important. All right, we have a lot of stories to cover. If we can get Lewis on, he's up next. He's the next on our rotation for today. So just give Bruce a moment there, and he will.
And then Robert's Zoom right now.
Lewis, or Deli's on the phone. She just said Lewis is in your Zoom.
Yeah, he's in the wrong Zoom room though. He's in my Zoom room.
Oh, he's in the wrong Zoom room. Yeah, it's the link. I emailed him the link earlier. I just resent him the email link. It's like, you on the phone with us, Owen?
All right. Well, they're trying to get that figured out. I'm going to tell you about screwbiggov.com. That's where you want to go. You want to find out what Lewis is up to. Screwbiggov.com. You'll get all the links, and especially the link to his Telegram channel. A lot of people say, I can't find Lewis's Telegram. Well, the reason why it's, there's a lot of duplicate ones when you become popular and famous and such. It's hard to find it. So go over to screwbiggov.com and you'll have all those links, and also the links to rememberyouroath.com, which we're going to talk a little bit when Lewis pops in, which looks like he's just coming into the back room now. We leave the door open and they come in through the back door. It's really kind of fun. There he is.
Careful, you leave the door open, man. You never know who's going to come.
That's right. Well, that's what this show's going to be. It's going to be Open Door Fridays.
Woohoo!
You never know who's going to show up. Here's the link. Pop in when you get a chance. Welcome, Mr. Herms. Good to see you.
Post it in the chat.
I can't talk yet, guys. I have to send this to our guest now, so
Okay.
stand by. Sorry.
False alarm. He's not quite ready yet. So we'll cover this story real quick here before Lewis comes in. Israel agrees to 4-hour pauses in fighting to let Hamas hostages out, while Biden announces there's no chance of a ceasefire in Israel. What do you think about that one?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, Israel's running everything. Yeah, there's no chance, right? So they need the war because they're broke. Central bankers, that's what they always do. Economies and things start to go crazy, and other people, different stories. Oh, got to have a war. We need to do something to, get the people's attention off of what we're doing and onto something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's and then the dude from one of the people, the spokespeople for the for Hamas, war with Israel is permanent.
Well,
because the Jews want to get rid of all the Arabs, and the Muslims want to eradicate the planet of the Jews. So, I mean, this has been going on since the dawn of time.
and then you see the Israelis put up their flag on the Gaza coast. Let's incite some more anger, shall we? So now Iran is saying, hey, they did that. That means there's going to be no war. This war is going to accelerate and it's going to expand. So we've got a lot to look forward to, don't we?
We do. Stock up. Stock up on your stuff.
Stock up. We'll go into the videos after we're done with Lewis, because Lewis has some very, very important and very special to share. We cannot wait to bring him on board and let us have it. Whenever you're ready, Lewis, you can pop in. You don't have to wait for an introduction.
I've been here.
Okay.
How you doing?
How you doing there, Lewis?
Well, it's been I can't even explain how busy it's been, but it's all good. It's all really, really, really good. Let me just do a clarification quick. I never said Ronald McDonald. I don't know why you call her Ronald McDowell. Her name's Ronald McDonald. Her name's Ronald McDonald. And I never said that she's not that bad. So I just wanted to clarify. What I said is during that election, what the Democrats were focusing on is abortion rights. And that was their platform. So what they did is on these elections that you don't get too many people, these small elections, you don't get too many people to show up. What they did is they campaigned huge on one thing and one thing only: abortion, 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 abortion. That's all they talked about. So they got a good turnout. So that's how they won all those local elections, which are super easy when Ronald McDonald gets a bunch of rhinos in there anyways, right?
You had mentioned, Lewis, that you had read up a lot on her. That's what I was referring to, is you were kind of more informed about her than I was.
Oh, yeah. So she's interesting. So she did the against Romney thing publicly, but I think that was a play to move herself away from Romney publicly, because she's a part of the McCain/Romney machine. And it, Oh, I can't say that word with Bruce on the show. Sorry, Brucey.
Traitorous bastard.
Traitorous bastards he is.
And we're not even in Arizona. Hey.
So, may I take a minute to get on my soapbox? Because I'm a little bit pissed off.
Bring it. Herms brings the heat, a special Friday edition.
So, there's many people that are very upset with me right now because I scold them and ask them to activate. So they say, when you start scolding we the people, we turn your channel off and we're not going to be part of it anymore, or we're just going to cut you off every time you do that. So they're trying to control my messaging, which is great. Congratulations for them. But then the big excuse they're using, it's all over comments now, and the emails and everything I'm getting is, Lewis, don't you understand? We can't do anything. Can't you see what happened to the J6ers? Right? How do you not understand that? You were at January 6th. Okay, so let me address these things one at a time. J6 is one of the biggest psyops ever perpetrated on mankind. You don't understand that. Did it exist? Yeah. we already know there's a bunch of false flag people that entered the Capitol, right? So what happened is the Marxist left used J6 to not only arrest some people, but to scare the living crap out of anybody to prevent them from protesting. But there's a couple things that you need to know. Number one, less than 1,000 people were arrested. Now, that may seem like a big number, right? And out of those, 99% of those arrested actually did enter the Capitol. So far, it's less than 10 people that didn't enter the Capitol that got arrested, right? So let's do the math. If you didn't enter the Capitol, even if you were there, you have a 1 in 200,000 chance of getting arrested. So that bullshit excuse needs to go bye-bye. I never want to hear again, look what happened to the J6ers, ever again. Because if you didn't enter the Capitol, right, there's a 1 in 200,000 chance, even people that were on the ground there, to get arrested. Okay, but guess what? Number two, right, we're asking people to get activated locally, not within the corporation of Washington, D.C. So that crushed another excuse that happened because you were within the corporation of Washington, D.C. I can still get arrested today, maybe because I was there. Hoping not to, but it is what it is. Now, in regard to rememberyouroath.com, we're only asking for you to show support and download the app when you're ready. That's it. So strike three. No more excuses. Stop with the constant excuses of why you can't do anything. And for you, those of you that say you turn off those videos when I scold you, right? Why would you be offended? If you're actually active or doing something, even the minimum thing like going and downloading an app or going to a website, you're doing something. So you shouldn't be offended, right? Because you're actually trying to fix the problem. If you're forwarding videos, if you're talking to people, why would you be offended by my words? Maybe because you're doing nothing. Shit, right? So, hello? How do you think we got here in the first place? Because evil prospers when good men and women do nothing. That's what happens. So, yes, I'm not interested in making friends or having a beer with you. Unless, of course, you are actually trying to fix the problem and pitch in. I'm working with other people to try to build an army of doers, not watchers. If I cared about building followers, you know what I would do? I would promote the perfect political line message or religious doctrine that, sorry to hurt your feelings, that more than half the truthers that you follow and suck on their teeth do. But I don't do that, and I won't do that because that is wrong. They're trying to build a platform and milk you. We don't do that here. We only try to get to the truth. That's why we're not sucking on the teeth to Israel, and we're not on the Palestinian side. You know why? Because that's a deep state war. So we're not taking a side. So we need to get past these excuses. President Trump has all but begged us to get involved. All but begged us. And I have people that have talked to him. And he says, I'm very frustrated with we the people. Now, not all of us sit by and still watch from their couch. Although you can, even with Remember Your Oath. But as JFK said, ask what you can do for your country. So for those of you participating with us, God bless you. For those of you still making excuses while your countries are falling around you, shame on you. Shame on you. Now, I know I'm passionate and pissed off, so when I calm down, I will make a video to better articulate this, to remove the excuses of what we need to do. And we can make a difference in the smallest way.
Good points, Lewis. And I think, people with this idea that, Donald Trump's going to come back and fix it all. We talked about this earlier today. Not going to happen. There's just too much to do. Number one. Number two is, are we waiting for that very cherished day in November. What makes us think all of a sudden 2024, it's going to be different? It's not going to be different. And then what do? Are we back in the same boat again? We've got another 4 years of battling, getting kicked out of courts and the yada yada, the same game. So the ground game has to be now. Not then, it has to start now.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely. So with all that being said, you don't have to pull him up yet, but is our guest in the back room right now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He needs a shirt, but he's in the back room.
Oh, oh, just you saying that, I would know who it is already.
Yes, Michael Jaco's joining us today. We got it.
I thought he got strung up at Gitmo. That's what everybody was talking.
That's what we heard all week.
Yeah, we can't bring Jaco on anymore because he's off
gone.
the map. He's been taken off the map. No, it is somebody else. Now, what happened is I want to give some backstory to this. Two things that have been happening. As Robert, because I had this discussion with you about 6 weeks ago, maybe more, a little bit more actually, right about a month before the Truth Tour, the last one. And I said, I think I'm going to go a little bit more on President Trump because he's taken all the slings of arrows. And this guy actually needs our support. And you and I had this discussion. And I said, let's see what we can do, because we're going to promote the news fairly, but at the same time, I'm trying to make up for the difference of the black pillars that are out there right now, trying to act as if Trump is the bad guy. So you and I had to talk about that, and we agreed. In reference to that, then actually the day after the Truth Tour, we're having a get together. And somebody comes up to me playing a song, which she thought was an original, which it's just because she wasn't familiar with the song. And this guy's singing. I know he's a patriot, just like us, and he's got his own channel, and he does a lot of hard work, and he did just an absolutely incredible job at this song. So I asked if I said I would be honored if I can produce a video with this. Well, I had no idea what that video was going to look like. I drew my inspiration from God. And while I was doing it, I said, you know what? This needs to be a dedication to President Trump. And I asked permission of the singer. I said, are you cool with that? He's more than cool with that. And I said, well, let's do it. And we put this video together. And I think, if I do say myself, I think we did a good job. I've only had a few people watch it, a couple of people really close to me, and they all started bawling, crying. So let's play the video, and then I want to bring on the singer from that, because he inspired me to do this amazing video, and he gave me the permission to do it. And he is absolutely blew me away with his vocals, and his vocals were God inspired. So let's go ahead and tee that up. Well, let's bring in the lovely Stephen Tenor, because he is the vocals on that song. Yeah. And Kristen did an amazing job on guitar. This video is not out yet, folks. We'll be releasing it somewhere between an hour from now to 3 or 4 days. Tenor and I have to talk and figure it out. I got one minor edit to do on the end of it. But if you loved it and you love the work Tenor did, why don't you throw a heart or American flag into the chat, because you guys already are. It seems like there's hundreds of people in here, so that's great. So Tenor, brother, great job, my friend. Thank you for giving me the honor to be able to produce this video. I appreciate that.
Oh man, thank you. Wow. Am I on?
You are.
Cool. I was half watching. It's the third time I saw it. I was half watching it because I was trying to keep my composure. And it's not just the video now. It's you speaking about what's going on. It's about what's happening. It's about listening to you speak about we the people and everything. And God is just working, right? And can we curse on here? We're on.
Oh, please do.
Fuck the people that are butthurt. Frankly, the only people that can get butthurt by hearing you tell them to do something aren't doing anything. And I'm not around for views and followers and friends. I love people. I want to work with people. I drove 60,000 plus miles around the country in the Mystery Machine with a message. So I can speak, I can curse, and I can say, get the fuck off the couch, because it's not many, it's a lot of hardworking people, Louis, that want to get the job done, and just to get on an app and share videos. And this isn't to the people that have problems and are severely depressed and can't seem to get out of the quicksand, with the state of affairs in the world. This is to the people that are fully capable of doing something, and you're not asking them to go out with shotguns. And again, the whole PSYOP worked, obviously, for these people with January 6th. I was proudly there. I was up all night waiting for that. That's my footage. And frankly, when President Trump is tapping, acknowledging me and tapping his heart, and I want to work harder, and I will take a bullet for being free. So, that's it. So thank you for getting involved in this. I lost all of that life before this, and I didn't talk about it because that wasn't important. I'm an award-winning, small-time filmmaker, actor, editor, all of that. But when you just said to me, I didn't even have to think for a split second, because I knew God was working. And when I just did Aaron's song, because it's one of the most amazing lyrical songs that I've ever, I have original music that I don't even care to listen to, but it just spoke volumes. And when I recorded it just for fun with Kristen, so we were supposed to do shit years ago before I got canceled out of that whole life. And when you asked to do it, I just knew God was working, and there was a bigger plan than what I could even imagine for the video, and incorporating the Remember Your Oath and dedicating it to, to President Trump. I can't thank you enough.
Well, again, it was an inspiration from God, and I think it came together. I knew it was working because when I was putting together the video, I was bawling so many times. And if people understand how long it takes to do these things, so it's an average. If I create the content myself, it's about an average of 3 hours per minute that goes into any production. So you can imagine how a 2-hour movie, how long that takes. So this is a 5-minute video. It was about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I'm sorry, 2.5 hours per the actual time. So it took about 15 hours to put it together, but it is completely inspired. But your passion that you put on through this performance, and then watching Kristen play, it was very easy. It just, all the ideas were just flowing out. So it melded together. Really, I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of you. And this is we're not even on my show. This is the Robert Embriel and Bruce Poppy show. So we'll let them come in, because I don't want to keep taking up their time. Guys, thank you for the opportunity to let us play this on your show too.
Thanks, guys.
Stephen, it's so amazing. That song is just fabulous. I'm watching the chat room, and so many are in tears. And one lady says she couldn't find the button to push the American flag because she couldn't see through the tears. It's a very touching song. Amazing. I've known you for a while. I didn't know you had this in you. This is fabulous to see this side of you. And, I think this is going to do a lot for people to kind of like at least bring it home, bring the emotion home of where we are, and, put it into words and put it into visuals. You said some of that footage was yours on January 6th?
Yeah. The footage, I think it was the Wyoming rally where I'm in the stands.
Uh-huh.
And actually, you guys can recognize me. This is my fancy hat. I'll throw it on for a second. I wore this to all the rallies. These are all my rally pins here. And then Trump, we've had a lot of moments. Trump, recognizing me at a lot of, I would be there obviously days early. I'd be in the front row wherever I wanted to sit. And I was telling Lewis I got in trouble with the Secret Service because I would do my morning after videos at sunrise on live on Telegram, and I'd walk the whole stage, the catwalk and everything. And in Ohio, I got my butt ripped apart by the Secret Service, and they're like, we had to watch videos, and like, so Trump, I think Trump knows who I am. So it was really wild. But at any rate, it was just, like I said, I left that life behind because it's for another day. But when I got saved on my birthday a couple of years ago and my life changed, and I seemed to got thrusted and sent out on this mission. And we'll talk about it another day. But we, the people, we didn't really get the memo when Trump at the inauguration said, today's not, however, not another ceremony. We're not only transferring power from Washington, from one administration to another. We're transferring power from Washington back to you, the people. And I can't speak for everyone. I didn't even being awake and a patriot, I didn't even really fully get the magnitude of that statement that day. And I didn't even understand for the first time, all branches of the military walking behind him. He literally, everyone, all they really have to do is listen to Trump speak and then get it broken down, like by you guys. And I have to start doing shows again because I have my whole, I can do my whole red pill, but I've been taking care of my dad and trying to get my life back and manifesting. So it's not just we got power was given back to us. It goes even beyond us taking our power back locally and everything that, remember your oath. And, I have a site too to help along with Lewis, but another day. But it goes beyond that. We have all the power. God created us equal in his image. And that's another story. I came home and I've been kind of quiet because I'm taking care of my dad. I'm treating him with, things that have been kept from us and stuff like that. Like I said, a show maybe for another day, but we hold all the power, everything. So I've actually been manifesting music because this was taken away from me when I started to speak up. I got fired by my agents, my managers. My acting career was just about to go to the next level. I was fronting an extremely popular 80s tribute band that toured just as much as full bands. I mean, full blown. I had to go actually to Washington to audition for it, for all places. But all of this, that whole life was taken from me, and I didn't speak about it because it didn't matter to me anymore, Robert. When I got saved, I left all of the things that changed. There's, the lust for money and all of those things. All of that changed. I quit drinking. Those that have been following me, they know the story. But the power is not just the power locally, which Trump and the military are waiting for. They're doing their job globally, the military, and Derek breaks that down. If you're not listening to Derek, you got to do that. Not you. I know you are. Derek breaks down in black and white what is happening globally, militarily, a global military alliance. They're working, but they're not coming to your local school to save your kids from tranny hour and all of these other things. They're not going locally and holding your sheriffs accountable. And that's where Remember Your Oath is going to come in, and Patriot Finder, gathering patriots to show up for the fight, not the physical fight, with the pen and with the brains. Showing up in number, no more. We will not comply. We're going to show up and we're going to get the job done. Okay? We're getting saved on a global aspect, but the military is not coming. Marine One is not going to land on the lawn of your local school. That's up to us. So if you can get off the couch and you can get together with your patriots, what these apps are going to do, they're going to make it easier for you. There's no excuse for you to not get on these apps. Find your patriots, even if you just need to find a patriot to have a cup of coffee because you're in quicksand, because you're depressed. You utilize these apps for that and share the news. It's the least that you can do. Share where the meetings are locally. Just keep your ear out and do these things. I know I went on a tangent. I have 1,000 things to say because I'm doing everything I can to get the job done. And again, I had no idea that this music video would take this turn and hopefully be very important to inspire people. I wanted to inspire people, but I had no idea. And God is working, and our power goes beyond just local and doing stuff. Our power is out there. We have the power to change our lives. So I'll shut up. I believe that I manifested this by tapping into my power what's about to happen with this music video, and hopefully that I'm going to be able, patriotically, be able to get back into music because I've been manifesting it. I tapped into my power that God gave me, and I'm making it happen. So I hope that the song inspires people, and I believe we're only just beginning, actually.
We really are. I mean, there's so much more to get done here. Bruce, do you have a comment? Do you want to jump in?
No, just stellar job. Stellar job. Yeah, Tenor knocked it out of the park. Yeah, I love that Aaron Lewis song when it first came out. Yeah, I was one of those guys that listened to it, and I'd get all misty and teary-eyed. Tried to sing it a few times at karaoke. I just couldn't get through it. We get choked up because it hits you right where you are. You know, when we first started this whole situation, and with the whole COVID thing and this lockdowns and the separation, the 6 feet, there's tons of people felt alone. You know, sitting here ranting in front of the webcam was way different, but getting connected with the Truth Tour and being out there and meeting the people now I know I'm not the only one.
Right.
We can feel like we're on an island, but we really aren't. We are connected. And appreciate you, bringing this forward. And it was a stellar job. A+.
Oh, thanks, man. Great to see you, brother. We're just getting started, so I have a feeling, we're all going to see each other again. We're just getting going. The website, remember your oath. We got to start. It's time to really go to work now. I believe the Patriots have to come together, and it's really exciting. So, like I said, I'm just blown away, with what's happening with it, and I'm really excited, and thanks for having me on today.
And it is not available yet. Lewis said the link will come out eventually. I know people are going to be asking for it in the chat room. Where's the link? Where's the link? Where's Steven's website? Where's all that stuff? So fill us in with what you can give us today.
Well, in the meantime, sheepnesia.com. If you can see it back there, it brings you to my website, tenortalk.com. And I'm sorry it was too short notice. I invited Mike. And, if people want to support me, I don't, it was beautiful things happened along the journey, but, we'll have, I've got merch. Things are coming together now. I mean, I have this hat on my website. This is my design, Jesus and Justice for All. Hope you appreciate the noose, because that's exactly what's coming for everyone, Jesus and Justice. And, some more merch will be available in a few days on the website with the launch of the music video. Like God is working. It's just people were contacting me, and these weren't even things I was thinking about anymore. I'm hardly doing shows. I'm just taking care of my dad, and here we are, and it's time to jump back out there and start talking again and firing up the troops. So they can go to tenortalk.com, and right on the homepage are all of my links, wherever everybody is, TikTok, Rumble, YouTube, Telegram, blah, blah, blah. It's all right on my homepage, tenortalk.com. And I can't wait to get the video out there. And I'll leave it to Lewis if he wants to say, probably jinx him, but somebody pretty cool is hopefully looking at this video tonight. So we'll if we get to share that, that'll be pretty cool if that happens. But anyway, man, I'm just blown away. I'm a babbling idiot, because this is extremely emotional, the way that this is going. And if the video just helps a handful of people to get motivated or feel good or to want to do something, then I'm the happiest guy in the world. And again, Aaron Lewis, I want to start writing and I want to get back into music, but I had no idea when I said, Kristen, let's just meet up to, what do you think about this song? I want to just record, see how it goes. And I got a shout out to John Refrano, who that's keyboard. I said, we need to add strings, and he did it on keys. He added the string in there, which I love strings. So we had to have it. So special shout out to John, and thank you to Kristen Capolino. She's like a guitar prodigy. She lives like 15 minutes from me, and she's got some great music. She's a great patriot, and you'll be hearing more about her as well.
Awesome, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck with the song. We'll keep promoting it here. We'll keep playing it.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
All right.
God bless
you,
everybody.
All right. Bruce has popped off cameras. I'm not sure if he's coming back or what he's up to, but that's okay. We can keep the show rolling. Lewis, do you have anything you want to share before we keep going?
I believe when we start paying attention, everything wonderful is a God spark. And it's just about us being aware. And I've learned personally over the last few years that instead of second guessing anything, go with that first impression that comes in, because that's God's word, in my opinion. When you're connected, some people have said, "Well, how do you know it's not the devil's word?" Well, when you're connected, the God gets his word in before the devil, in my opinion. So it's very, very, very easy, and you don't need to be religious to believe that there's a God, and a God speaks through all of us, and I think works through all of us. You don't need to be religious to believe that. That's completely autonomous from religion. But I think it's an absolute beautiful, beautiful thing. And I happen to know somebody that is sitting down with President Trump tonight, and I put a little bug in his ear and gave him a private link. Possibly President Trump will see this video tonight. If not, that's all right. I've got 4 other people that I'm going to be working with over the next week, and I'm sure that he's going to get a hold of this.
Wouldn't that be cool, huh? Well, that's why we're in this. We're in this to make an impression, make a difference. So that'd be fantastic if it went that direction.
Yep. And even if it doesn't, just means the timing's not there.
Yeah.
You know, we need to keep moving forward. It's a beautiful song, great presentation. I think it's motivating, it's emotional, and I think it is a proper dedication for all the work President has done to this point. Exactly
right. And it's meant to inspire us more than him. He doesn't need the inspiration. He knows what he's doing. And it's really to wake us up and get us back in the game. So many of us have been on the sidelines for too long, and it's time to turn the channel. Honestly, I'm feeling the vibe of that. I'm feeling the frustration. It's really starting to bubble now, and we're getting close to that boiling point, which is, when things start to happen. It's like it doesn't happen until the water boils, right? And we're very close to that. There's a lot of frustration now, So
I think it's daily. I get messages that say, if you're not awake, you're never going to wake up. And that's a stupid talking point. Yeah. I'm just going to say it right now. If you guys are going to be putting those, it's just retarded. And I don't really care if I'm being too harsh right now, because I can tell you that daily people, even in my personal life, are coming around going, "Oh my God, I'm learning. Oh, wow,
Same
this
here.
is what's going on."
Same
I mean,
here.
you just had a major family incident, and you told me, I'm not letting the cat out of the bag, but they're 2 years, the last 2 years, they're so much farther advanced on the awakening than you would have ever expected.
Yeah, it surprised me, actually. It was really good to see it. It surprised me in a positive way, obviously. Yeah.
So let's just stop making excuses, folks. No, and if you truly feel that everybody awake, well, that could be your circle, your inner circle, and maybe you're frustrated, and I understand that. Just remember, though, the last people that are going to tell you, "Hey, you're right," are your family and friends.
That's right.
Because they don't, their ego won't allow them to do that. So you need to look outside of there. But I guarantee you, because we're hearing that all the time, people are in a whole nother place than they were even a year ago. So hang in there, folks. It's coming around. It's not coming around fast enough for me. I'm a very impatient, patient person. And what that means is I'm extraordinarily patient, but I still want it now.
Yep.
Right? I want to go snorkeling and fishing and go do all that fun stuff all the time. But the reality is we need to tear down the system as it is, right? And rebuild it in God's image. Now, let me just explain that, because another thing, people come after me, "Louis, when you say that, it sounds a lot like Build Back Better." Okay, take another deep breath. It's not Build Back Better. But we have to get rid of the system that we have. At least 90% of the system is a cabal construct. So when we get rid of that cabal construct, we rebuild it. Guess what? Rebuild 10% of it. I'm definitely not saying rebuild it, systematize it like the cabal. Just barely, just whatever we barely need in order for we the people to run everything. That's what we're saying. And it will work. It guarantee it.
No question, Louis. And the thing that I keep going back to, we all live in this society. All of us do, right? Nobody goes to the gas station and pays less for gas. Everyone pays the same price, right? So there's these elements that are causing the awakening that you can't get around. It's not like you can ignore, oh, $7 gas. Yeah, well, I don't pay attention. You have to pay attention to it. You have to pay attention to your mortgage rates rising. You have to pay attention to rent going through the roof. You have to pay attention to food prices being out of control, right? And this is what, there's always a silver lining. We're always looking for the silver. What's the silver lining of all this massive inflation is? It's waking people up. Right. It's getting them to understand that things aren't normal. I'm sorry, we're not 2019 anymore. We're not there. And as bad as people thought 2019 was, you go look at the way things are now, and there's nobody that says things are better.
Yes. True.
It's a matter of time. Matter of time. They're coming. They're coming. They are coming. We just have to understand that they're not as fast that we get it. We've been on the cutting edge of this for several years now, and maybe even longer for some of us. They're coming. Just give them a chance. Let them breathe. Yep. Patience.
All right. Well, let's bring on your co-host because I feel like I'm taking up your time again, and I apologize.
My co-host took a nap.
No, he's there. I see him on video. He's there. Bruce, where are you?
Like, where's Waldo?
Where's Waldo? We played this clip, Bruce, of the rally the other day, and I said, let's see if we can find Bruce because his hair sticks out.
I know.
And nobody found Waldo.
I was so disappointed. Like I said, I wanted to be there. And that's why the very next morning I had Gina and Doug because they were there. We're supposed to meet them down there. And like I said, crap came up. So I had Gina and Doug on to give the boots on the ground situation about the whole rally and what their experience was. They were like in the third row or something. Had a great time.
Wow. Yes, Hobbit, I think it was. She sent me pictures of 107 in the audience there.
Yeah, I got some pictures from Carol as well with Juan and Roseanne.
Roseanne was there too. Yep, they were together. Yep, exactly. So we have these connections. It's interesting. We don't realize, where these connections go, but we know these people, on a first name basis, and look who they're connected with. It's kind of fun to be kind of in this world.
And the Juan that was at the rally was not the same Juan that got eaten by the bear.
That was a different Juan, huh?
Yeah, it was a different one. Yeah. Good thing Nino can run fast because that bear was after him too. Nino just said, "Juan, F you, I'm out of here," and he hauled ass and left Juan to get eaten by a bear. So I mean, these are the type of people we're dealing with in the Patriot movement.
Yeah, and all you could hear from the background is Juanito.
Fun. All right, let's take a little break before we go into some more news stories. Bruce, you want to tell us about how you're taking care of your pets these days?
Yeah. So we announced this a week or so ago, maybe a little more, our new partnership with Pet Club 247. And what we are very passionate about what we're doing because, over 50% and dying prematurely because mostly of the foods, the treats, and the toys that we buy from the store online. So we're educating pet parents and sharing with them changes they can make to help keep their pets healthy, happy, out of the vet's office. I mean, just like us humans don't like to go to these stupid doctors, the vets, it's all the same situation. So what we're looking to get connected with people who love pets, people who, love animals, work with animals like breeders, boarders, groomers, trainers, rescuers. That's our goal is to have, we want to be a voice for the voiceless. Our goal is to have 1 million voices here as quickly as we possibly can. So you can go to healthyswitch.petclub247.com, healthyswitch.petclub247.com to get some more info, find out what's going on. So we'd appreciate you joining us. Help us with the pets because pets are important too. That's what we're all about.
You're going to have to give me that link so I can put it on as a lower third as I didn't catch it either. It's a long, complicated link, my friend.
Yeah, it's super easy. Healthy Switch. Because we're getting healthyswitch.petclub247.com.
Well, where's the hyphen? I heard a hyphen in there.
No, healthyswitch.petclub247.com.
Okay, good. Fun. All right. Why are the banks failing? Is there a plan behind the banks failing? We're seeing a lot more regional banks failing. What's going on here? Well, Prison Planet, Bruce, that's what he's calling it,
Heard that before. Mr. Alex Jones likes to refer us this rock that we're on as a prison planet. I mean, this we have the illusion of freedom, and that's what's the funny thing is, they give us just enough leash to make us think that if we work hard and do all this other stuff, everything's going to be puppy dogs and rainbows. But that's all it is. It's the planet that we're on, or the rock that we're on, is it's a huge open air concentration camp, and we're here at the pleasure of the ruling elites.
It's interesting that he's talking about the regional banks being the first to fail, right? And then you consolidate everything up, right, to the larger banks, and you only have a handful of larger banks, and it's easier to convince a small group to go to central bank digital currency than it is a large group.
Right.
Right.
I mean, those are the smaller ones. They are the less corporatized. There's a lot. They're not. A lot of those community banks aren't publicly traded. They're not run and owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. So these big corporate ones, they're the ones sucking up all the oxygen in the room. It was another one. What, Citizens Bank closed down or was taken over? Went into conservatorship or something.
Yeah, the feds closed it down because it was insolvent. Another one. It's at the fifth one this year, I think, that has been that way. And it's a lot of these smaller banks, like you said, the community banks, and these guys don't have the resources of the bigger banks. And the bigger banks can just print money or get money from the Fed when they need it, and they can fudge their books and make it look like they're a lot wealthier than they really are. It's just kind of interesting to see how this is going to change. And we have to pay attention. We got to really support. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know what to do with my money. I don't know what to do with my money. I'm hearing that a lot. And people are asking me all the time, what do I do? What do I do? Do I go to large bank? Or do I go to small bank? Well, if they're killing off the small banks, going to large bank might save you for a little bit. But what if that goes to central bank digital currency? Then there is no safe haven. Cash becomes valueless, is what Fulford's been talking about for the past few weeks now. He says, you can hoard all the cash you want. When they take the value out of it and make it worth zero, then you just have paper. It's not worth anything. It's like a ream of copy paper. It's worth $5, the whole ream. You know what I mean? It's just not worth anything.
No, it's I mean, it's a funny predicament. Yeah, where do you put, you buy a bunch of, then what do you do with that? If things hit the fan, you got to find some type of broker or something, where you bite off a little piece and you go buy some bread or something with your silver. So, I mean, the banking, I think that's the next shoe to drop. That's going to be the next wave of awakening people, is once you start digging in people's pockets, then they become a little more program for activity, right? They'll do something more when you're digging in their pocket than you are if it doesn't affect them. Because right now, quite honestly, you could not watch any news. You can not watch anybody on the internet. None of us showed none of this stuff. Just live your life, and you wouldn't know anything is going on.
Yep. And there are those people who do that. They're going on there. They're running their businesses. They're running their lives, and they're not. Well, gas is a little expensive. Food's a little expensive. All right, I'll make more sales or whatever. Okay, great. Maybe you can do that. You can't do that in every industry. But the really thing you got to look at, and I've always been doing this throughout my business career, I always look for the trend. Which way is the trend going, right? The trend right now is not looking good for us. It's going more and more. The prices are up and up and up. And that means consumers are buying less and less and less. When that happens, the economy has no choice but to stop. I mean, not dead stop for sure. People will still be buying gas and food, but the luxury items that we all sell, they're not going to be buying them as much. There's not enough money in the economy for that. So people really are, that's why I say I'm going to go out at the mall on Black Friday, because I got to see, what's a good finger on the pulse for the economy. What's going on? Are people really buying? Because sometimes the numbers don't really tell the whole story. You got to see it with your own eyes. So sure. I always go to the mall on Black Friday because I like to just to see what's going on. And this year won't be any different. I'll be at the mall just for a little while just to see, what's going on over there. Are the shelves bare? Are they bare because there's no inventory, or are they bare because sales are good? How many bags are they carrying when they're walking through the mall, as an idea? How full is the mall? The mall has been deserted by us all year. Every time we go there, it's like, boy, there's usually no parking here. And it's like, it's open. The only place that's completely full all the time, Walmart and Costco. What does that tell you about the economy? It's not strong. It's the low dollar stuff that's doing well.
Right. And even the Fed just recently met, and they were talking, Powell was saying they're doing all these things to stop inflation, but it's not. It's continuing on an upward trend.
Yep.
Despite their best efforts, the things that they're doing would normally, in a normal type of situation, would curb some of the inflation, but that's not. I mean, it's a really strange thing. It makes you feel or understand that this is destined to happen. Was Kerry Cassidy a while back? I think it was even like 2012 or something. Interviewed that military intelligence guy that talked about the Project Looking Glass. That no matter what they put in that machine, after a certain date, doesn't matter what they put in, the outcome was still the same. So you're not, nothing can stop what is coming is a fact.
Yep. And, again, be prepared, right? And prepared may or may not include having a wad of cash at home. It may or may not include having silver or gold, that kind of thing. I can't advise you one way or another there because I don't have clarity on it. If I had clarity, I'd definitely tell you, but I don't have clarity on that. And, so right now you want food, you want water, right? You want to make sure that, you're up to date on your rent and your whatever expenses the must-have expenses, if you will. And we don't know. And there are a lot of people in the intuitive community, and I know people get upset when we talk about the intuitives, but I spend a lot of time in that community, who are talking about March being that point when it all collapses. Fulford's talking about it now too. Benjamin Fulford, he's talking about that. And he doesn't do the intuitive stuff, right? And then there's Cliff High, and then there's some other ones who are all pointing to this doesn't go on forever. There's a point at which it all collapses. There's a point at which it all folds. Now, the question is, if it folds and we go to central bank digital currency, we're in social digital prison. So we're going to have to pay attention.
And then it goes to the QFS and the way we want it to go.
Right.
And so right now we don't know which way it's going to go. It just something needs to break one way or the other.
Yeah.
As we saw the stock market start to go down, and then it was somehow it came back up. The dollar was in the shitter, and then now it's starting to climb back up. It's holding its own. The last 3 months it's the highest it's been. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I mean this whole this fake, phony, and falsely propped up the house of cards we call our financial system here in the United States, and in fact, globally, is just waiting to come down. So we're just wondering. It's not a matter if; it's a matter of when.
The military-industrial complex. That's what's driving the economy. If you start a war, or in our case, multiple wars, all that military money comes in because how much is a cruise missile to build? It's more than $1 million each. Back then, that was old numbers. It's probably even more now, right? Every time we lose a fighter jet, how many millions of dollars go back in the economy to build another one to replace it? COVID-19, didn't expect that to be something that'll pop.
No.
Eric Adams in New York, his campaign manager got raided, and now it turns out the FBI stopped him in the middle of the street, seized his cell phones and iPads days after the raid on his chief fundraiser. His home got raided. Interesting, because the FBI is not usually on our side, but this looks different, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for the crazy accent. I don't know where that came from.
People go all Nazi on us. No, Eric Adams, scumbag extraordinaire. Mr. Sanctuary City until all the illegals start showing up, and then you start crying, "No, ma, stop! We can't handle it.
Can't handle it. We're gonna send them out to Missouri now. We're gonna get rid of them."
So maybe that's it. He's just getting chastised, by the deep state for coming out and saying, "Hey, illegals are
Oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Maybe he's just getting a slap on the wrist here. Hey, because Chuck Schumer says the intelligence community has how many different ways from Sunday to come after you, all kinds of different ways to come after you.
Yeah.
So maybe he went off script when he was crying uncle about all the illegals coming into New York. And the FBI says, let's bring you in for a little chat.
Well, the FBI whistleblower said, give me the name and I'll find you the crime. Right? So, okay, Eric Adams is not playing by the rules now because he's not being Mr. Sanctuary City anymore. Now he's saying, hey, I don't want to play this game anymore. And you're right. Now the FBI is going after him.
I mean, this is just the thought just popped in my head. I don't know if it's true or not.
No, you hit it. I think I got chills on my spine. I think you've hit it. I think that's a big part of what's going on here.
Sure. I mean, because they're coming after him or some campaign finance stuff, or he was getting money from foreign somewhere or another. If is that the reason that they're digging into his shit?
No,
allegedly.
Let's see here if I can find it. Don't have it in the order that I had it here earlier. It's messed up. Why can't I find it? Anyway. Oh, here it is here. New York Times is reporting that FBI officials approached the Democrat on Monday night on the street and asked for a security team to step away. The agents then climbed into Adams' SUV, took his devices, at least 2 cell phones and an iPad, and the devices were returned within a couple of days with the FBI downloaded all the data. He's 63, Adams, and he revealed this week that he has now retained a personal lawyer because he knows something's not right here.
Yeah, it could be, made a scapegoat for something. Who knows?
So left or right doesn't matter. If you're not following the game plan, the way the game plan's laid out, you're not playing your role the way you're supposed to play it. What are we going to do? We got to take him in for a little chat.
Yep, got to jerk the slack out of him.
That's exactly what it seems like happening here. Crazy. All right, so we have the crazy lady here, Dana Nessel. Finally, there's articles of impeachment against her. Now, what I want people to understand with this, right? All of these little stories that we're sharing with you, they have a point. We're not winning. We're not going anywhere. Nothing's happening. Every day. I went to bed happy last night because I was looking at the news for today. I was looking, okay, what are we going to cover? What are we going to talk about? And it was story after story after story. Here's a win here. Here's a win there. This is a win. That's a win. And it's all, it just had a stack of wins. And now they're not huge wins. This is just an articles of impeachment. Will it go anywhere? I don't know. But the fact that it even came up is a win. Do you think in 2020 this would have happened?
Probably not.
Probably not.
There's little things, little judges, making proper or what seems to be logical type of rulings. There's more and more, stuff coming out about this whole 2020 situation. I don't believe that's over yet.
Go ahead, sing it.
Huh?
Go ahead, sing it like 107 sings it.
I can't do that. That's one of the most silly, craziest things I ever heard.
I know.
2020 is not over yet. Some stupid shit like that. But yeah, I mean, it's there's this is going back to the sheriff, right? Is this?
Right.
Yeah, I don't even believe this Nessel lady won because the gentleman that was running against her, he was his name escapes me off the top of my head. It'll come to me, but he was huge in going through the Michigan stuff, and he was all over the television during the audits and things, and so he ran against her, and he got screwed.
But again, we look at the trend, right? So I'm always looking at the trend. The trend is, and you said it correctly, that there are judges that are now starting to do the right thing. Right? So one of them starts doing, hey, he did it. Okay. Hey, he upheld the law too. Well, maybe I should do it. Right? And it starts to become contagious in the other direction. We always knew the pendulum will swing back. And it looks to me, I could be wrong.
It's starting to come back this way.
Starting to come back in the right direction again. It's slow. Remember, this is the Queen Mary. This is not a rowboat. It's going to take some time to turn this guy around, but it looks like it's coming back in the right direction. And as more and more people wake up, right, and they're starting to see, hey, things just aren't right, it'll happen faster and faster. I was talking to Lewis about this yesterday. It's like momentum. You got the little snowball at the top of the hill, right? You put that snowball, boy, you can just crush that thing and nothing will happen, right? So it has no power. But let it start going down the hill. It starts getting bigger and bigger. We've all seen the cartoons, right? Well, it actually happens kind of like that in real life because I grew up in Canada, so I know what snows like. And it gets bigger and bigger. And as it gets down that hill, it is a larger thing to be dealt with. And it can get to such a point where it can't be stopped. And I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the beginning stages. And I was saying back in November of last year, I said we've entered the phase of disclosure. That was this whole year was disclosure. And
Yeah.
now we're starting to enter the phase of momentum, right?
And it's just going to continue getting more and more and more all the way through, 2024 and up to what may or may not happen as an election about a year from now.
Exactly. And it's not about waiting for that day. All of us have to, be part of this, and we have to make sure that snowball is, number one, is protected because it can get squunched. It's very small right now. It's still easy to stop it. We got to protect it, and we got to give it momentum. We got to give it a push and keep pushing on it to make sure that it can pick up that speed. And that's all of us. All of us need to play a role. So rememberyouroath.com, screwbiggov.com. Make sure you're following Unpopular Viewpoint on Telegram and also on Rumble. And make sure you're following Renegade Media on Rumble and also Renegade Media on Telegram, right? Make sure you're following us because we're putting the seeds out there that'll help you be informed, because that's what you need to be, right? When you have these conversations with people who aren't quite woken up yet, you don't beat them up. I mean, that's one way of attacking it, but it doesn't really produce anything, right? So better is to ask questions, let them respond, and then they start asking you questions, and now you'll be informed enough to give them answers that make sense. Don't make them wrong. That's the worst thing you can do is make them wrong because it shuts them down.
No. If they say something that's contrary to what wow, that sounds interesting. Where did you find that information?
Yeah, exactly. You look at it from the perspective of their perspective. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be told they're wrong. And when they're told they're wrong, it's hurtful. And they shut down. And they don't want to hear it anymore.
Yep.
But if you ask them questions and start getting them into a conversation, and they start asking you questions, then you could say, listen, I understand how you got fooled. It's really hard to look at CNN and think that they're lying to you. It's so professionally done, and the camera work and the lighting and the actors, right, that are on camera, they look so professional, unlike us, Bruce, with no makeup. Oh, wait a minute. Where's your spray? Where's your spray?
I got it right back there. Yeah. I always put it on just before showtime, freshen me up.
Yeah, that's the extent of the makeup for this show. We don't have makeup artists. We don't have a hairstylist. We don't have anybody. We just show up as we are. But you got to really understand. It's like, yes, they got fooled. That doesn't make them dumb. Those things are very well crafted to fool you. They're very well crafted to make you believe what their messaging is. Some of the clues, when you look at one, the other, and they're all saying the same thing, then you know it's not organic anymore, because there's no way. If I shared a story with you and Bruce shared a story with you, would we use the exact same words? Very unlikely. Very unlikely. Would we share the exact same opinion? We may be very close, but it would not be 100% on, right? And that's how you know. You look at this, you say, all these reporters are reporting the same thing in the same way, saying the same thing, sharing the same facts. Okay, there's no thinking. No, they all have the same facts at 4 o'clock in the morning. And they just tore it off the fax machine, put it on a teleprompter, and they start talking about it. I understand how you could be fooled. Now, let's be a little bit smart about this. Let's look at it from a different perspective, and then you can start feeding them some information, and they're not going to be resistant to you. They'll listen. They may not become a Trump supporter tomorrow. That's not really the goal anyway, but at least you've opened the door. And if they start questioning, that's the win. That's all we're looking for, is for them to start asking questions.
Yeah.
Right?
That's where it starts. Asking questions. That's how I started. I was just wondering what, and I started looking because I had questions.
Yep.
Nobody came, to me. I started digging on myself. That's how I started. Looking at back then, Rumble wasn't a big or a thing for the 2020 election, and it was YouTube. So that's where you're all on there hunting and pecking, trying to find stuff on YouTube and other news sites and what's going on. And then one thing led me down a path and down the path, and then other rabbit holes started opening up, and all of a sudden I wake up and it's a whole new world.
Overnight it shifted, right? It was there,
Yeah,
and then it wasn't there.
it seemed like it happened like that. Once the light bulb goes on,
Yep.
you're like, holy shit, how did I miss this my whole fucking life?
Yep. Hey, I want to talk to you about NutraSwish real quick, because
Yes.
it is a very, very, really wonderful product. Everyone who tries it loves it, and I see a lot of people reordering it too. So, one of the things that it does, it is a liquid, a nanoparticleized glutathione product. Now, glutathione's real important for what? For the liver. It's the fuel that fuels the liver to let the liver do its job. And the challenge is we get a little bit older, we don't generate as much of it anymore. So a lot of people have a lot of illnesses, and you wonder why the illnesses are there. It's, well, because the body's not functioning the way it used to, because it's got age on it. But more importantly, it's dealing with a very high toxic load. So the liver is the organ that removes a lot of toxicity, oxidative stress, for instance. Glutathione is the master antioxidant, helps you deal with oxidative stress, and helps the liver do its job in getting the toxicity out of your system. Clear up the toxicity, guess what? Some things are interesting. You get more energy. You can lose weight. You sleep better. You recover faster from physical exertion. And Bruce can tell you that back pain went away because in this product they also added turmeric. Turmeric is a known anti-inflammatory. So you reduce the inflammation in the joints, and what happens? Oftentimes your pain goes away. Can't guarantee that'll happen with everyone, but certainly it is certainly worth giving a shot. If you want to give it a shot, I would suggest you go over. That's the wrong link I have here. Oh no, I put the wrong link here. Oh well. RenegadeMedia.tv/energy is where you want to go. RenegadeMedia.tv/energy. I don't know why I have the wrong link here today. Anyway, don't worry about it. And you can find out more about that product there and get yourself on it, because it is a really, really good product. We love it. Bruce and I, you have it every day still, right?
Yeah. I do the swish twice a day and the face once a day. And my wife just started the new product, Hers. We got that delivered days ago. It just came out a little more than a couple weeks ago or something.
Yep.
We got that in. The wife is using that, and so she's we're digging it. We're Neumeites.
Neumeites, I love it.
I love this stuff you hear about. Whatever. It's snake oil. Whatever. So I tried it. I was honestly interested. I gave it a shot, and it had huge benefits for me personally. And so it's one of the good ones out there.
And there's the correct link. Thank you, Bruce. Give me a moment there to correct the link. You can scan the QR code there if you want, or just go to RenegadeMedia.tv/energy, and you can find out more information about that wonderful, wonderful product. Okay. The news is not done. What's interesting this week? It was one of those weeks where I left more on the cutting room floor than I actually brought to the shows, because there was so much going on. Big story.
I spend probably close to 30 minutes right when I wake up, going through, like I mentioned before on my show, there's a dozen or so sites that I go through and scan the headlines, see what's going on, and see if there's anything that's popping off that makes it interesting. But there are tons of stuff.
Yep. So we'll cover this one here. This is a drone footage of the parking lot from the music festival in Israel. And I want you to keep in mind that they told us Hamas came in with paragliders.
Besides the United States. And then the United States is the one always, sticking up for Israel and the United Nations and can't be held accountable when they're always playing the victim. So none of this stuff makes sense. And it's nothing as that it seems. So you got to be aware and be able to look for and be open to other ideas for sure.
Yeah. And, I encourage all of you who are watching to be the same, to be vigilant with it, and don't believe what we're saying. Don't believe what you're hearing in media, right? Just continue to ask questions, because the questions always lead you to the truth, because the truth always comes to the surface, right? So we keep asking questions. I've seen this footage now in different websites. It could be propaganda. It could be footage from some other war. Certainly. We don't know, right? We get as much as we get. unless we're there with our own eyes and can see it. But we showed you the other day that they had CNN and NBC and others embedded with Hamas before the attacks. Kind of makes you feel that things were planned.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I saw that story for sure. Yeah, the CNN was all tucked up and embedded, and they were there. They knew about what was going on, so they were there ahead of time. They knew.
Yeah. And how did they know, and how could Israel not know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The one thing that really makes you go, Israel having the best defenses, the best military, the best border, patrol type situation control because they're always under attack. Lets these low tech type stuff and lets this, we're surprised. That's the good word. They were not surprised. This was all a planned situation.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we're going to keep digging because I think it's worth doing. And we'll keep looking on the weekend because there's going to be a lot popping on the weekend too. There always is. And then Monday, we get this avalanche of news on Monday, so we'll have to see, what comes out between now and then. Will you be around on the weekend in case something pops? If we have to pull you on?
I'm always around. Yeah, if something
Okay.
happens, if I got a signal, I'll fire off something somewhere somehow.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think I'm done with my list of goodies for today.
I got a couple of things.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're on this Israel thing, just stuff that make you go, what? So this on Breitbart, this headline says, this is the headline, I swear to God. Israel prepares for possible fentanyl-filled rockets from Hamas and Hezbollah. So Israel has to take and kill large numbers of people. So, I mean, just these headlines, it makes you good. It's crazy. They're not, this isn't, unfortunate that there's so many people that are caught in the crossfire, innocents, Palestinian, Israel or Jewish people alike are the ones that are the victims of this thing. But,
You're right. Everyone's caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
I'm even going to say, I'm going to go so far, Bruce, as to say we are caught in the crossfire too. If you look at these protests.
Oh yeah,
right.
Absolutely. No, I've never seen. There's more and more and more and more. Pro Hamas. They're calling them pro Palestinian type of things. The headlines are just filled with these different companies and universities and whatever, getting slapped with the scarlet red letter of the anti-Semite type of stuff. So this is just the ridiculousness, the more division that they're trying to put. Number one, to extract more money from us. It's another money laundering operation. And it's the thing that makes me go is in this whole, just take this Israel thing for example, there are multiple different avenues that we could think for the reason why, right? We talk about the industrial military complex and being broke and they need a war, to make more money off of both sides. We talked about the energy aspect, these ruling elites and them wanting to put that canal that comes up where Gaza, where the people were there and they're wanting to depopulate and clear out that land. The whole deep state,
Well, could you see that now? They put their Israeli flag on the coast of Gaza. Do you think they really want to clear out that land?
100%.
What does the flag signify? We've conquered this land. I mean, what else?
Absolutely.
I don't know their message there.
No, that's the whole game, capture the flag. We've all played that game, You're trying to get the other person's flag.
Yep.
So, out there on the coast for sure. I mean, so there's multiple avenues that this doesn't, it's not an organic situation. Then you look back into the whole history, from the dawn of time, Muslims, Arabs, versus, the Jews. That's been a religious situation since the dawn of time. So, I mean, there's, multiple avenues why this just does not add up. And it doesn't need to happen if we were not being controlled by these ruling elites.
It's not the will of the people. The people did not want this on either side, and certainly here in the United States, we didn't want any of it either. It's being foisted upon us, and it's it's up to us now to push back and say, hey, no, we don't want this, because if we don't, it's over. This freedom thing that we think we have going on here is done.
Yep. No, you had mentioned earlier about the draft and what they do in Israel. 18, you serve 2 years automatically. There's no option to not. The Jewish people, the Israelites, are probably some of the most racist people that there is out there. They've been indoctrinated and
Right.
pounded into their head that they're better than other people, that they're these Palestinians, these dirty Arabs, just need to be expunged from the earth. That's their ideology. The more hardcore, Jewish Israel people.
And you
that's
talk
what
to
they
people
think.
in Israel, and they say there are Muslims here, and everyone gets along just fine.
So that
Right. Again, it's a narrative. So which is
exactly
true, right? Which
Right.
which side's true? I'm going to go with the man in the street always. I'll always start
Absolutely.
there.
No, you have to. You can't trust what's coming over the boob tube.
Nope.
Even all these different websites that we go to, and they're on the conservative side. There's a lot of clickbaity type stuff that once you start digging in the headline, once you start digging into the story, it just doesn't add up. Ends up to be something different than what they're presenting
You've
it to be.
noticed that too, especially on Gateway Pundit. Sometimes the headline is so clickbaity, and you get into it, you look at the article, and it's like, that has nothing to do with what I came here for. Or
Yep.
there's not much of a story. There's a few paragraphs on a photo, or a Twitter post or something, and like, that's not a story.
Right.
You've
So
done no
you gotta-
research here.
That's why we use multiple sites, and I try to find multiple sources. One other story I found, and I'm seemingly spending more time on these foreign websites.
Russia Times.
Russia Times is amazing. And tell me if this doesn't even sound familiar from just harking back to when Barry and Big Mike were in an office. Just so keep that in your mind. It says here, Ukraine is not one of the world's most corrupt countries, according to Ukraine. This guy, Andrei Yermak, the head of President Vladimir Zelensky's office, says that Zelensky is personally clean and does not tolerate graft. His chief of staff, this guy said, so claims of widespread corruption and Ukraine, including among its leadership, are a false Russian narrative. The head of President Zelensky's office proclaimed in an interview, Ukraine is not one of the world's most corrupt nations or one of the most. This is not true. When he was asked by the journalist, for sure that either the president nor I am corrupt. I believe no one, unless they are paid to spread someone else's fake news, would call our president corrupt. So if you remember back when Barry was in, there was, what do you call them? Problems. I can't think of the word off the top of my head. There's no crises.
Scandals.
Scandals. That's the word. Thank you, Robert. No scandals in the whole. Obama. They were clean, right? And Obama. We know Obama was 100% behind installing Zelensky. This whole Russian thing just didn't pop off when Russia came across the border. That war has been going on since 2014 when they installed Zelensky
Right.
there.
And in 2014, what else happened? Right. Do you remember what happened? Bioweapons research was approved under Obama.
Right.
Not in this
And
country, but they approved it over there.
Yep.
So they installed their guy, right? They started sending the money, and they started to say, we're going to fund all this research, these bioweapons research. Russia watched and saw what happened with COVID, with one lab leak, how that thing went around the world, and they said, we don't want this on our border. That's what sparked the war. They're not looking for the land. They don't care less about the land. They're already a big enough country.
Right.
But they wanted to stop the corruption. They went after the corruption.
Yeah. And so, for this guy to come out and they're putting this out and they're claiming anybody is paid fake news. It's another false Russian narrative. We've heard that over and over and over again. Good grief. Can you use a different playbook, please?
Yeah.
Or try something different? I'm sorry, your false Russian narrative card is over the limit. Can you have some other form of objection? This is crazy. It's the way they use the race card, too.
Yep.
Everything is Russian disinformation. Even just recently, there's more stuff coming out that they're trying to blame on Russia. That's just the fallacy. So I'm spending, more and more time on these foreign websites getting this information. So another great one that I found.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, you're going to love this one. That's not what I wanted. There's this Watchdog Foundation. There was a big article. If you don't think that you can make a difference on a small level, there's a small community in Michigan that was pissed off because the Chinese were going to be opening a huge battery plant there, and the people did not want it. So the county or the city commission said, "Fuck you! We're going to do what we want. Screw the people. Screw we the people." So we the people says, "Nah, recall election." They got them all, kicked them all out.
All of that, I know, I saw that. It was
The
only,
whole
it's only a
city
town of
council.
3,700 too. It's a small
Yeah,
town.
it was a very, very small town.
Yep.
Absolutely. But that just shows you if we the people step up, that's on a small scale. The micro fixes the macro, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So a town of 3,700 some people, they got together after their county commission or whatever, the city council said, no, we're going to give our, sell this land to the Chinese and build this battery, blah, blah, blah. And so we know that the electric vehicle stuff is failing miserably. Biden wanted to push for that for the UAW people, the strike and all this stuff. The big car makers are losing their asses on all these electric vehicles. Trump has even mentioned it last couple times at his rallies. They want us to push us to these electric trucks, semi-trucks that can go 300 miles. I mean, you think the cost of goods are expensive now? And you think it's going to take a while to get something shipped from California to Florida?
Yeah.
Wait until they. So there was a judge or was a ruling or a Senate thing, a bill that passed in Congress that pushed off Biden's mandate that he wanted for electric vehicles. So that was one good thing. But you wonder why is all this push? The whole Green New Deal and all this type of stuff. So there was a watchdog that's been. The Department of Transport, they sent a letter to the Department of Transportation Inspector General to investigate a Biden official. The complaint was filed by Protect the Public's Trust against Ann Carlson. Ann Carlson is the acting administrator of the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. And she's got some ties to, some electric vehicle stuff. She's been pushing that. But she's illegally in office because she didn't, if I read this properly, the Senate Republican tanked her nomination. And so Biden removed her nomination. She's never been confirmed by the Senate, but yet she's still holding that temporary position that's been for well beyond. You have to have at least, a certain amount of time as a interim or something before you can, get confirmed by the Senate. So she's well beyond that. They removed her nomination, but she's still out there, making plans and, making deals and making policy with the Biden administration. So, you need to write your Congress people and let them know that her name is Ann Carlson, acting administrator of the NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. I guess that would fall underneath Buttigieg, Mayor Pete. It would fall under his purview, right? Because he's the transportation secretary. So doesn't the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration fall underneath that particular?
I think it does, yeah. And his salary's been reduced to $1 now. So let's see how long he stays.
And they're also pushing for Mophead, that press secretary, since she's such a liar. But I just thought it was interesting, how all this electric vehicle stuff is all, there's multiple stories that are in the, news now, and it's all tied back into Biden officials, the corrupt, illegitimate Biden administration officials that are criminals pushing these policies. And who ends up paying? You and I, we the people.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, I mean, find that story. I got to find the name of the town. But yeah, you were right. There's that town council. If we, the people, come together, we can kick out a whole city council.
Well, that's the kind of thing that we're doing with Remember Your Oath, right? That's what we want to do, is bring everybody together and say, hey, come on in. RememberYourOath.com. Go there, get signed up for it, because that's the goal of doing that, is to be able to bring people together to have that impact. And like you said, sometimes it only takes a small group, 50 people, 100 people. That's all it really needs, and you can make a difference. And we need the organizing apps. We don't have them. We got kicked off of Facebook. We got kicked off Instagram. We got kicked off of Google Places and Google Groups and all the rest of that. We didn't have the tools anymore. Even the neighborhood app, right? The Neighbors app. We got kicked
Next
off
door.
of that. Yeah. So this will be something new. This will be better, and this will be for our side, and we'll make it happen.
We will.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Bruce.
No, thank you, Robert.
Another fun show.
It's always fun. I'm just scanning over to the chat over here on the side to make sure everybody's. Thank you, Robert. Linda Millichamp from over there, all the way across the pond in Scotland. I mean, it's 8 o'clock. It's just like 2 o'clock in the morning over there.
Wow.
1 o'clock in the morning. So appreciate Linda sticking up with us.
She's here every day. Yeah, we love her. Absolutely. Yep.
Linda is an awesome patriot over there in Scotland. She's kicking ass and taking names. So yeah, we love her. Have her in here. Let's see. Hemi Cats. By Timmy Jack. I don't know what that stands for. Big Buckshot and T-Bone's checking in. T-Bone from South Florida. What's going on, brother? So yeah, love the people in the chat. Like and share and all that stuff. Share it out. We're doing the best that we can with what we have. We're like I say all the time, that Prince song. We're all gathered here together to to get through this thing called life.
Absolutely.
And so we're trying to make our way through this miry muck, this Twilight Zone matrix, and we're winning. I'm happy. I'm good.
Every day, I look for the wins every day, and like I said, we're on that stage now. We're starting to build momentum. I think we're going to see that going into next year. It's going to be so much fun to go into 2024 on the positive. Maybe the dark days are behind us. Maybe that's what we're looking for.
I don't know. I just don't feel that we've had the gut punch and near-death experience for America. We haven't been there yet. I don't think the majority hasn't been to the precipice.
Well, between now and March, I think we may see that.
Who knows, right? Everybody's precipice is different, So people get to the precipice sooner. Some get to it later, but as long as we get there, and then once you get to the precipice, that's the top. Everything else is easy going downhill. Once we get to that point, that's when the fun and work begins to help and heal people.
Absolutely. Words of wisdom, Mr. Poppy. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll be back here Monday with Lewis in the News, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And if something will pop on the weekend, we'll pop in and we'll put some videos up on our channels. Unpopular Viewpoint on Rumble, Renegade Media on Rumble, and Screw Big Gov on Rumble. And also all three of those channels also on Telegram. Those are the places to find us. And you can keep in touch with us there.
Yep. Robert and Lewis got the afternoons covered at 6, and I'm taking care of the mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern. I've been doing my live streams 9 a.m. Eastern all this week. And I just found out while we were doing our show here, Lisa Schermerhorn, our friend, asked me to come on her podcast Monday, Where Truth Lies, Monday at noon. So I guess I'll be on Lisa Schermerhorn's show Monday at noon.
Cool.
So we're going to have fun, man. We got to get the word out there.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you back here Monday. Ciao.
See ya.